So Joy, I just want to talk a little bit about your story. It was super impactful, and when I saw you months ago, you were kind of a different person. So I'm hoping maybe you could share a little bit about your story with us. I know you came in originally for back pain, and you had been sedentary for a long time. And can you tell me a little bit about that?
For years, I was just getting more and more tired, more than just the rundown mom, more than just a stress episode, or life just being busy for a season, and just continue to not recover from that. My energy was going. I was napping more. I couldn't get through the day without napping. Finally found out that I was iron deficient. Had some surgery, had some iron infusions, which made a huge difference. But then I had an 18-month recovery after the surgery, where I couldn't do anything but walk gingerly, really, not even vigorously walking. Couldn't lift anything at all for the longest time. Couldn't twist, turn, bend. Couldn't even lift a glass of water. Had to have it handed to me. Could not pick up my laptop to put it into my lap. Had to have somebody hand it to me for a long time. She warned me it was going to be long recovery. I thought I was prepared, but I wasn't. I felt like I was just so sedentary prior to my surgery, and it was a hysterectomy just to help with the iron deficiency so I wouldn't continue to lose blood. I was excited, had this hope that, okay, now I'm going to be able to take care of my kids. Now I'm going to be able to do life and not worry about, oh, I can't do this because I have to nap, or if I do this and this, then I'll be too tired to, continue with the evening. It was just always something that I was thinking about. And recovery, at first I was like, well, I'm a good napper, so I should sail through this pretty easily. I mean, getting the help from lifting, that was hard.
Right.
Because it was little stuff, like, can you, grab my purse for me off the floor, because I couldn't bend over to grab it. I wasn't allowed. And then even when I felt like I could, I was still not allowed. So that was what the longevity portion of it was.
And people are gonna think, obviously just a hysterectomy, most people don't have that kind of recovery afterwards.
Right.
So you obviously had some more intense stuff
It
happening.
was like 6 surgeries all in one. There was a total remodel down there. Lots of issues going on.
And so they were
a lot
very
of internal, yes, a lot of internal healing had to continue. So much so that it was difficult once I physically felt like I could move, because I was still not allowed to do normal things that everybody just does to take care of your family. I couldn't vacuum. I couldn't lift the groceries. So I'd always have to take one of my children with me grocery shopping, so that they could even just get the milk out of the grocery store and put it in the cart. So it wasn't even just like carrying in the groceries. It was like, I actually have to have you go with me to carry this or to carry that. And so emotionally that starts to get to you too. But the not being busy part worked, because I was a good napper, until I just started to feel like I need to move more. At least I can walk. I can't exercise and do like power walking yet. But I want to get out, and I want to walk more, because typically they do get you up and moving after surgery. Mine was just totally different and just very backwards, so it was difficult.
So fast forward 18 months, right? So now you're allowed to do things, but you were dealing with like muscle atrophy and
right.
So what did you feel like then?
So at that point, it was emotionally difficult, because I was now allowed. It was almost like, okay, you're free.
Live your life.
And I felt like I could, except for I couldn't. I was getting winded at the shortest little things. I was
and you had back pain, right? How bad was
shaky, yeah. The back pain started towards the end of my recovery, to the point where I thought, well, maybe it was part of because I had some sacral healing that needed to do from the inside. So I thought, well, maybe it's scar tissue. So every time I would go back to my surgeon, I'm like, are you sure that back pain is not, from the surgery? Because with the pain of the surgery, I didn't notice the back pain. It was as everything else, all the pain started to go away, except for that nagging lower back pain. And I thought, okay, well, it's just positioning, or it's, scar tissue, or it's just slower to heal. But that wasn't the case.
It didn't get better.
It didn't get better, and it just progressively got worse to the point where I couldn't do anything. I mean, I loved to get a massage, enjoy a massage. And in the beginning, my husband could kind of, massage my back and it would help. But then it got to the point where, like, I couldn't even have him touch it. He would try to find the spot, and I mean, I was in tears. I was constantly moving, adjusting, almost like you're in labor, in active labor, and you just can't get comfortable.
So then you had a pain management procedure, right? You had injections.
So that's when I went, I had some MRI scheduled just to make sure there wasn't anything with the surgery that had maybe gotten loose or didn't heal correctly. Make sure there wasn't anything else physical that was causing the pain. And then I saw a neurosurgeon. They referred me here for pain management. And I was like, I can't just be that person that takes medication for the rest of their life for pain. Like that's just not okay. With me, I was just too young. My kids were still too young. I wanted to do more life.
Right.
So yeah, Dr. Gales did steroid injections, and that worked. Didn't take everything away, but it definitely made it to where I didn't have like those episodes where I was just brought to tears and couldn't sit, couldn't stand, couldn't lay, couldn't move.
How long did those work for?
I just had one. Well, it was 2 shots, but it was the one treatment.
Right.
And I was getting ready to schedule my second treatment, so that would have been like 3 months out when we decided to go ahead and do the Emsculpt, because when he showed me, he looked at my scans. I mean, it's kind of funny how he described it, but it was, it made sense. So he was showing me on the computer my spine and my MRI scans, and he was showing me how, well, this is muscle, and it's like marbled and it looks good. It's like you think of it like a steak. This is a steak you would buy, as you're going up and down the spine. But then as you scroll down to where my lower back glutes came into place, he says, you see all that white? Like, I kind of knew it was coming, so I'm like, yeah. He said, yeah, that's fat. Like, you have no muscle left. Your muscles have just atrophied to the point that
But they're not there.
they were basically gone. I mean, just to stand and do the dishes, my back hurt. I couldn't do anything that was just every day. I'm not talking about anything extra fun, just daily things that needed to happen.
So I'm sure his recommendation seemed crazy to you, right? Do this new machine that builds muscle for you. So you came in and saw us and we did a consultation, and what did you think then?
Well, when he explained it, the reasoning for the back pain, I'm like, well, that makes total sense, but there's no way that I can work out or even do enough physical therapy, because I did physical therapy as well, enough to get the strength that I needed to actually just keep going. Right, it would cycle. Like, I would get into a good rhythm, and then my back would flare up, and I'd have to, be off my feet, get that under control. And then, you have to try to start back up, and it's always hard to get back into it. And so it was just like this roller coaster. It was a cycle that just kept repeating. When he described it as building the muscle quicker than I could do on my own, that really stood out to me, because I had been trying. I was doing my physical therapy. I was doing everything that I was allowed to do. And 2 weeks in, I would have to stop. So I was getting nowhere. And I just knew that was just going to be the cycle for the rest of my life, really, if I couldn't get past that point. And I didn't want to just keep getting injections to try to fix it as a Band-Aid, you know. I mean, it worked.
Right. But it usually works less and less over time. And unfortunately, cortisone causes degeneration as time goes on, too.
Right.
So you deal with that negative side effect. So, okay, so you started the treatment, and we did your abs and we did your glutes.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you find?
Well, first of all, I didn't really realize that the glutes, I mean, obviously your core, that makes sense to me. The glutes, I didn't really understand how important they are to back pain and proper body mechanics at all, really. I was shocked. I mean, I'm a nurse, and so I should have made that connection, and I did not. And I had a butt, so I just kind of thought, it's there, it's not like it's gone, but not realizing that it was really just atrophied muscle and accumulated fat. Really, there was no function there. Yeah.
So then, as you started to go through the treatment, what did you notice first?
I would say after the second treatment, I don't know that I noticed a difference in my strength per se, but I had a little extra perk in where I felt like I noticed less cellulite on my butt, my glutes, the lower leg, and I'd always had cellulite since I was 14, so that wasn't a surprise to me, but it just got worse and worse. I felt like that was starting to kind of smooth out a little bit, and so I didn't want to say anything to anybody because I was like, oh, this is nice, maybe. And then probably about the fourth treatment, I didn't notice that I was stronger, but I recognized that I wasn't thinking about doing things. I was just bending over to pick something out without thought. I was gardening, not for long, but I would garden without thinking. I would pull the weeds without thinking, am I gonna have time to recover from this if I do it? Yeah. It wasn't a thought to me.
I remember you telling me too that you went on a cruise with your family and you were actually able to participate.
Yes, zip lined, and yeah, we snorkeled, and I really thought that I would be able to go with them on the snorkel adventure. I could get in the water, but I did not think that I would be able to actually swim and use my legs, because you do use your glutes and your back for that, and I just didn't want to set it off because then that would just ruin the rest of the trip. But I snorkeled longer than anyone else in my group. I didn't want to get out of the water. I mean, it was amazing. I didn't realize all the time that had gone by. I can remember, I don't know if it was probably about the same time, third or fourth visit that I came in for the treatment, saying, I can just get up out of bed without thinking, because I was still in post-op surgery mode where I would have to roll to my side, use my hands to sit up, and then get up, and in steps. And now I'm just I just sit straight up in the bed and swing over all in one swoop. It's I didn't even think about it. It just was happening. So it wasn't just wow, I'm stronger. It was, wow, I'm doing things without thinking about how I can do it without hurting.
So now you're 4 months out?
I am 4 months out.
And how are you feeling now? Tell me what you're noticing now, what you feel like now, how your pain levels are, how your back is.
I have absolutely no pain.
Really?
At all. Really not even any aches and pains, which I was surprised. I mean, I thought, well, surely it'll flare up a little bit. I mean, and I'm sure everybody's case is different, and the reasoning that they're having treatments would be different as well. But for what I had, no back pain. I still need to work on my upper back, you know, with exercising. I'm able to do all of my physical therapy exercises without it irritating my back to where I would have to stop. So there's no cycle there. I can just continue. I moved on to yoga. I have, I'm not afraid to walk fast or briskly. I don't jog, but I never jogged before, just to be clear. I do squats. I even, you know, in the shower sometimes I do my squats and, you know, move back and forth and kind of not really dancing, but trying to work out my legs without working out my legs and sweating. And that doesn't bother my back. It doesn't matter how I sleep. I don't have to like pack pillows everywhere to hold me in place because I didn't have the muscle strength to hold my body in place. I mean, it got to the point where I was laying down and I couldn't hold my body in place. The muscle atrophy was just so bad, just from the years leading up to surgery of slowly declining with my active lifestyle to where I wasn't doing anything. And then the 18 months on top of that of
recovery,
basically being in bed except for getting up to walk.
So you're back to life.
I am.
I mean, the first time I saw you, it was really emotional. You were in tears. You kind of looked like a shell of yourself at that point on that day. I mean, I could have just caught you on a bad day.
No, that would have been any day. If you would have asked me how I was doing, it would have started the floodgates. Because I just thought at this point, why am I still not okay? Why can't I move forward?
And the last couple of times I've seen you, you're all smiles. So seems like we've had a huge turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, I never could cross my legs, and I know you probably still shouldn't. So I have to actually try to remind myself not to do that. But now I just do it without even thinking about it.
As we both sit here with our legs crossed.
Yeah, I mean, I can sit Indian style. I can bend.
Can you play with your kids?
Oh yeah, my flexibility is back. I'm throwing with the dog, which means I have to, you know, bend over to get the frisbee or the ball.
Can you stand up and do dishes?
I can. I can do dishes. I can vacuum. I can work out and sweat. I can move the Christmas boxes, you know, for decorating now that it's Christmas time.
Have you noticed an aesthetic benefit?
I have. So my goal was pain. And I remember you telling me, you know, you will also probably have some results, you know, cosmetically speaking or aesthetically. I didn't want to have any expectations of that because just get rid of my pain. Anything else is a bonus. I don't care. Just focus on my pain. And so, yeah, I notice more definition in my stomach now. I sit differently with my butt. It has lifted to the point where like there's a shelf there that kind of bubbles up when I sit.
That Brazilian butt lift.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. I now have a crease under my butt so you can tell like there's a separation of, you know, your glutes from the back of your leg. It was just kind of all one. It was filled out with fat so you could tell, but it was kind of all in one package. I didn't recognize that it should be different really because it had been so long since I was in shape. But now I have a butt and then legs. I have a little less muffin top, which is nice. I mean, I'm not at all where I would like to be, and I'm not striving for perfection, but I am on my way to gaining the endurance. You know, it's been slow building up my exercises of what I could do because I had to start with just so little.
Right.
But now I'm adding
now you
more
have the ability to do that.
Right. Now I'm adding more. And so I'm ready to really up my cardio just to work on the endurance part now that I have some muscle strength. So it's exciting.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And I think it means a lot for people to hear about other people's stories. And yours was a pretty big, complicated one and a little more dramatic than some people's. But, you know, to change somebody's life like that with pain is a huge thing. It
is. I mean, and even just the fact that it's giving my body more muscles, which in turn helps with the energy. You know, I'm not napping. I mean, every now and again, if it's a rainy day, who doesn't want to indulge? but I don't need to plan my day according to what can I do, what can I not do.
Well, and pain exhausts you.
It does.
So probably everything combined.
Right, because
being
you don't
out
want to
of
let anybody
pain.
down,
Right.
you know, and then you're this far out from the surgery, so it's hard to explain why you're still not up and running,
Right.
but
Well, I'm so glad to hear all of your results.
complete
And
difference. And, you know, and a little cosmetic
nice. Can't
added
beat that.
in there. No, can't beat that.
Thank you.
Thank you.